All right, so you're thinking about making a move to Phoenix, Arizona, and maybe you have Chandler on your list of potential options as far as places to live. If you do, it makes sense. Chandler offers a ton of positives, and it's been a popular place, one of the most highly rated places to live here in the Phoenix metro for a long period of time. There's a lot of things that people like about it. But I think the question you need to ask yourself is, number one, if you are focused on Chandler, what areas might be right for you? There's a lot of places that you might love. There's probably a few places that you might not like, you might hate to live. So we're going to take you through that. We're going to try to take you through some of the pros, some of the cons, some of the reasons why Chandler's a good fit, and maybe throw in a few reasons why you might want to lean towards another area just in case. A lot to like about Chandler, might not be perfect for you. We're going to try to figure that out today. We're going to bring up the map, take you through kind of the areas, discuss all those, and try to figure out if Chandler is right for you. So if that info might be helpful, then stay tuned. What's up, everybody? It's Greg Corbett with the AZ Lifestyle Group right here in Phoenix, Arizona. If this is your first time to this channel and you're looking to find out everything you need to know about what it's like living in and or moving to the Phoenix metro area, including living in Chandler, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the little bell so you can be notified whenever we post a new video. We are helping people from all over when it comes to finding the best places and neighborhoods to live here, and we absolutely love it. So if you're even thinking about making a move and you need any assistance whatsoever, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, however you want to get a hold of us. We got your back when it comes to moving to the Phoenix metro. All right, guys, let's bring up the map. We're going to jump right into it here. We are going to be talking about several things when it comes to Chandler. So I always like to bring up the location first. We're going to talk about location. We're going to talk about the reputation. We're going to talk about schools. We're going to talk about the entertainment districts, just why it's so popular with families, that type of thing. So when we look at the location here, just in kind of when it comes to the Metro Phoenix area and looking at where Chandler is, we're obviously here in the Southeast Valley. Chandler's a part of the East Valley, including Tempe, Mesa, Gilbert, Queen Creek, Scottsdale, all of those. Obviously, the East Valley tends to be a very popular place to be when people are moving out here. So Chandler's a big part of that. When you think about how Chandler has grown and developed over the last 20, 30 years, a lot of it was based on Intel coming in and that being a big driver of bringing in employees, expanding the neighborhoods, being, needing newer neighborhoods to kind of pop up to take care of those employees. Also was big from my memory back in the early 2000s, just because there was a lot of people kind of maybe commuting into Phoenix or Scottsdale, and maybe those areas didn't offer some of these newer communities that were built. So we had a lot of people coming in, or maybe builders coming in and doing these communities. Ocotillo comes to my mind down here, Fulton Ranch, these communities that maybe you couldn't find what you were looking for in some of the northern areas. And so people would come down to Chandler and take advantage of that as well. So a lot of things to like about it. If you go to niche.com here and kind of take a look at some of the reputation of what Chandler has, you'll see this definitely comes up on a lot of people's minds. So when it comes to best places with schools, best places to live, best places for young professionals, best places to raise a family. Chandler always tends to be ranked pretty high on that. It's been one of the top ranked places to live here in Arizona, again, for a while. So I have a lot of experience with Chandler. I lived in Chandler for, a couple of years. And then I also, when I lived in Queen Creek, back when I originally got into real estate back in between 2004 and 2009, like all of my time was spent in Chandler because most of my friends lived in Chandler. And so I spent a lot of time with them and their families. And then just in some of the entertainment districts and stuff in Chandler, between like going to downtown Chandler, going to the Chandler Fashion Mall area. And a lot of there was a lot of cool little even strip mall areas where you had cool little bars and restaurants and that type of thing. So there's just a lot of cool things that Chandler offers that, people just like. And again, you're central to everything too. So even if you're not hanging out in Chandler, you're really close access to getting up into Tempe and Phoenix and Scottsdale and that type of thing. So, it's not like you have to spend all your time hanging out in Chandler if you live in Chandler. A lot of people, live there, and then when they're going out, maybe they'll go into somewhere else. But I think a lot of the Phoenix area tends to be like that for people. So it works out good. But let's talk about some of the communities. I mentioned Ocotillo. There's a ton of neighborhoods in Chandler that you probably have never heard of. And so there's a little pocket neighborhoods all over. All of them look pretty similar to me. Like when I think about the neighborhoods in Chandler and the neighborhoods in Gilbert and that type of thing, a lot of them look very similar to each other. You can find some of these ones that have like a little uniqueness when it comes to like Ocotillo, as far as like, we'll bring up the satellite images here. Like they have like all the man-made lakes and, you can golf courses and that type of thing. So if you want something that's outside of the norm and you want to have a house that's kind of back to water, or if you want a house that's on the golf course, and just has kind of a different feel, the Chandler has those when it comes to like Ocotillo, that type of thing. I'll try to pull up kind of what these homes look like real quick here. This gives you a general sense of what the homes look like. And I think this does a good job of really kind of, I'll try to slow down here a little bit, but this is kind of what you find when you're looking around in Chandler. If I had to guess of like what these are, I mean, these are, 2-story homes that are probably in the 3,000 square foot range. Again, 3-car garage. If I had to guess in the price range here, they're probably in the anywhere from 800 to 1.2 range. Looking at some of the stuff here in Ocotillo based on age and that type of thing. So you're going to see a lot of stuff like that. Obviously, Chandler, you can find, pricing probably starting, anywhere in the 400 to 500 range and going up from there, depending on what you're looking for. But I think, what you need to figure out is, do you want to be on the north side of Chandler? And there's a lot of cool things on the north side. They just tend to be a little bit older. So, anywhere here from the I-10 north of the 202 to the 101, there's a lot of cool neighborhoods in here. Downtown tends to be the oldest part of Chandler. So when you're looking close to downtown, you're probably going to find a lot of older pockets. And so, when it comes to areas, like if you were to start looking at listings online for stuff that's close to downtown Chandler, you might not like what you see. That might be an area where like, I don't like that at all, Greg. Like that's not my style. So I get that. That makes sense. Again, you're trying to, what you're looking at is stuff that's older and maybe neighborhoods that don't have HOAs. A lot of people, hate HOAs. So if you want to avoid that, you can, but you also get neighborhoods that kind of look a little older and don't have some of the amenities versus like the stuff down here, like Ocotillo or Fulton Ranch or some of the other ones getting close to like Chandler Heights and Riggs. If we go down to the south side of Chandler, kind of near Chandler Heights Road and Riggs Road, I mean, these are where, the big lots, like people who wanted the larger lots, maybe wanted an RV garage, maybe wanted just decked out backyards, pools, that type of thing. You see a lot of that down in this south part of Chandler. So I think the further south you go, that's where you get these bigger lots. You got like places like Circle G Ranch. And I was actually down here last weekend looking at a neighborhood for, one of my clients who is looking for an RV garage. And so we were checking some stuff out there. So, if you'll also see areas, I've got friends that have like horse property. They've got like 5 acres and they have horses on their property. So if you're looking for horse property, Chandler's a good place to be. So depends on what you're looking for. So, that's where like Chandler offers a lot, but you also need to kind of know like what's going to be the best fit for you depending on what your, situation is, what your circumstances are. Real quick, you guys, if you're finding this info helpful at all, please consider hitting that like button and leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know if this information is helpful, and let us know if you have any questions. It really helps us to know if we're putting out the right content. Also helps us to kind of spread the message to other people. So definitely let us know how we're doing. We appreciate it. If you are looking for, things to do, again, Chandler's got you covered. I would say, again, I'm going to talk about entertainment districts here, like when it comes to things to do, shopping, dining, that type of thing. You got Chandler Fashion Mall, which is right near the 101 and 202 right here. I almost forget it's been a while since I've been down here. But for those of you who, you might be new to this channel, maybe you're not. I've done a ton of vlog tours regarding the neighborhoods, and we've talked about, kind of the Chandler Fashion Mall area. We talked about downtown Chandler and some of the neighborhoods surrounding that type of thing. Make sure to check out some of those vlog tours if you kind of want to see some of the, up close and personal stuff that we're doing. I've spent a lot of time in Chandler doing that to kind of provide to you guys so you can really see what the neighborhoods look like. But so Chandler Fashion Mall has, or Chandler Fashion Center, that was kind of a copy of Scottsdale Fashion Square. So when that was originally developed, I think they wanted to kind of copy what Scottsdale was doing and bring a lot of the stores and restaurants and stuff like that down there. I've spent a lot of time down there, like back in the between 2004 and 2009 area. It kind of took a hit during COVID, but I think it's probably hopefully rebounded. It's been a while since I've been down there, but I know there's a lot of cool stuff down there in that area. Again, going into downtown area, this is an older area, but it's got a ton of cool little restaurants and dive bars and places that you would want to go. So for people that are close by and just kind of want to bounce around to someplace cool, downtown Chandler is still a good spot. We talked about, close proximity into other areas. And even if you wanted to get into downtown Gilbert, you're not too far away from like getting into downtown Gilbert as well. So, make sure to take advantage of some of the other cities when you're living in these areas. I think it's helpful. Let's get into schools again. We talk a lot about Chandler and Gilbert as well when it comes to having the best rated schools in Metro Phoenix. I think between Chandler, Gilbert, Scottsdale, they tend to be some of the highest. You'll find some of the other cities are doing a little bit, are up there as well and are kind of competing with some of the newer stuff. And we seem to be getting hopefully better when it comes to our school ratings here in Arizona. But people are always looking at that. It's important to them. And even people who don't have kids, we're finding that they're wanting to potentially look at areas like Chandler, like Gilbert, because it doesn't matter if they have to or if they have kids or not. They just want to be in areas that might have higher resale value because of that. So that's something that people are considering as well. There's a lot of cool little museums and parks and fun stuff to do, outdoor activities. When it's hot, obviously there's got some indoor stuff as well to think about. So lots of things to consider, and definitely offers a lot of things where other places might not have. A couple more things to consider and think about. Chandler does have its own little municipal airport. So for those of you who might have your own little plane, maybe you want to have a place to fly in and out of in Chandler, you have access to that. If we're talking about, some of the bigger airports, you're not too far away from Sky Harbor. You probably can get to Sky Harbor Airport over here in Phoenix within, typically, I would say 20 to 25 minutes, depending on traffic. And you're also pretty close to Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport over here. So this is a smaller airport, but it does have access to maybe some cities and some areas that for pretty cheap flights that you can get to. So Phoenix Mesa Gateway is a good place to kind of consider as well. Again, you're kind of right in the center there, so easy to get in and out of when it comes to traveling and making all that stuff pretty easy for people. Let's talk about if you're kind of trying to figure out what's better for you between other areas. So when people are thinking about Chandler, they're probably thinking about Gilbert as well. They might be thinking about Queen Creek. I definitely have people that are looking at, Chandler versus maybe going up to Peoria or Surprise even. So a lot of people that if they're coming in here, you might not know what is going to be the best fit for you. And it's hard for me to say on video, like what is the best fit unless you reach out to me and kind of say, hey, here's my situation. This is what I'm looking for. This is what my goals are. Because, every area has certain advantages that might be, a good fit for you. And there might be other things that if you tell me, hey, I'm looking for this, this, and this, then I can be like, well, Chandler probably not going to be the best fit for you. Maybe try this area instead. But you really need to reach out to us in order to kind of really dive into it and make sure that is something that would be important factor to you or not. And then really from a negative point of view on Chandler, there's not a whole lot of things, that I'd say, hey, look, you want to avoid Chandler because of this, and that. To me, it's all about what's your budget and what makes sense for you, because you might pay a premium to be in Chandler for certain neighborhoods versus you might be able to find something similar in another city for a little bit less, depending on the situation. If it's something that you don't need, you're like, well, I don't need that, so I'm not going to pay the extra, because obviously Chandler's popular. So you're going typically going to have to compete. Now, we're going into, if we're not already in a buyer's market, so hopefully there's a little bit more advantages right now for buyers when you're coming in. But those are the things you kind of want to think about as far as like negative things when it comes to Chandler. I really don't think that there's like things that like we can talk about, again, like I brought up before. It's like you might be like, hey, I don't want to be in areas that look super old or have like, just don't have the kind of the curb appeal that I'm looking for. So from that perspective, yes, there's going to be certain parts of Chandler that you're going to want to avoid. But from an overall perspective of like, hey, avoid Chandler or avoid any particular neighborhood for this particular reason that it is for everyone, I don't see that. There's a lot of things to like about it. So it's just going to be based on what you are looking for. All right, guys, so there's a little overview for you of Chandler. Hopefully that is helpful. There's obviously a lot of information to cover, and I'm only scratching the surface on these videos, but I want to kind of give you a kind of a general feel of what the neighborhoods look like. So hopefully between, kind of the footage we're throwing out there and kind of talking through the map there, hopefully that is, something that kind of guides you in the right direction. In order to really help figure out if it's going to be right for you, then you need to reach out to us. And that's why we're here to help. We'll put our contact info on screen as always. We're here to help guide you in the right direction to try to figure out what areas and neighborhoods are best for you. That's what we love to do, and that's why we're here. So make sure to reach out to us. We're here to help. Give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, however you want to get a hold of us. We got your back, and until the next video, we'll catch you later.